Music is something that has been with us humans since the beginning of time. From banging on rocks to symphonies that fill concert halls, music has always been there, reflecting who we are as a society. When we talk about what makes a song good, there are three key points that come to mind: production or instrumental composition, originality and innovation, or lyricism and storytelling. In some cases, memorability or nostalgia can cause a song to resonate within the listener. To truly understand what good composition is, we must take a look back to a time when lyrics were scarce within music. Classical music has been seen within film for decades, often associated with the villain of a story. But we must ask ourselves, why is that? Let's take a look at The Silence of the Lambs, a 1991 psychological thriller that utilized classical music to create tension within the film. But why use this old and outdated music over a modern film score? In the movie, not only does Hannibal Lecter make a specific request for Bach's Goldberg variations, but he also mentions its performer, Glenn Gould. Gould reinvented Bach's piano music, his style being cold and deliberate. He distances himself from the popular romantic interpretations of Bach to a more inexpressive and mechanical mode of delivery. This, paired with the cold-blooded nature of Lecter, creates a scene that instills fear within the audience. However, if you watch the clip back without the music playing in the background, you would find that the scene is a lot less noteworthy and emotional. This is a great example of how music can portray or influence emotion despite its seemingly primitive sound. It's through Bach and Gould's composition and execution, absent of lyrics, that this melody can be full of such intensity. But music isn't always used to portray negative emotions. This is Be My Baby by the Ronettes, which is one of the first examples of a pop song. This, along with many other songs in the 60s, brought forth new waves and genres of music, truly making it a decade of innovation and change. Speaking of innovation, let's take a look at the Beatles. The Beatles are one of the most famous bands in all of history, and for good reason. They completely revolutionized the music industry, mastering several different styles of music to make record-breaking songs.
Say that something. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. Oh, please.
On the night of February 9, 1964, American families gathered around their bulky TVs to watch that night's episode of The Ed Sullivan Show. It was truly a pivotal moment when the Beatles joined Sullivan because the Beatles were a British band on an American show. While they had already dominated the entire music industry in the UK, being on the show allowed for the song I Want to Hold Your Hand, which is currently playing, to stay on the #1 spot on the US charts for the entire month. The reason for the Beatles' profound popularity was because they had made something that nobody had heard before, a new kind of music that was original, new, and most importantly, good. As we transition into the 70s, we begin to see artists start incorporating a story or a deeper meaning within their music. Hotel California is a staple of classic rock and the 1970s as a whole. Its true meaning has been debated since its release, although never made clear. The mysteriousness presented in the song is purposeful, attempting to have the listener come to their own personal conclusion on its true meaning. As Glenn Frey once said, vagary is the primary tool of songwriters. There are many possible interpretations, including the song's meaning being about Hollywood and its cautionary lifestyle. with several references to substance abuse, expensive belongings in the line, "You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave." This meaning is certainly a possibility. Another popular theory is that the song is describing a relationship. In the beginning, the hero is desperate and alone, before finding a woman and marrying her. In the second part, things become rocky, with materialism splitting the two apart. In the end, the hero escapes the relationship and attempts to return to his old self, only to find that he has permanently changed as a result of his unfortunate endeavor. While the true meaning of this song will likely never be known, its mysteriousness and vague storytelling is what made the song so memorable and cherished by fans of rock. Do you recognize this song? Well, I didn't expect you to, but you may recognize this one. This is Daft Punk's One More Time, a song still heard in clubs around the world today. But what if I were to tell you that the two songs you just heard are actually the same?
One more time.
This breakdown created by TrackLib demonstrates a process in production known as sampling. Sampling is when the artist, in this case Daft Punk, repurposes portions of a song into another form entirely. Here we're able to see a forgotten track of the disco era transformed into an early 2000s electronic hit. As we can see, Daft Punk were pioneers of the sampling world, setting the stage for the many artists that followed them. They demonstrate both originality and, most importantly, excellent production when making their songs, two qualities that combine to form excellent music.
Stone cold, I'm wondering why I got out of bed at all. The morning rain.
Stan is a musical masterpiece created by Eminem and Dido, telling a chilling story through the song. Eminem is one of the greatest and most influential rappers of all time, and is one of the founding fathers of modern rap. But part of the reason for Eminem's success was his style of rapping, different from all the others. In the song, we are able to see a prime example of Eminem going out of the box, telling a compelling narrative about an obsessive fan known as Stan. The story follows his life through the letters that he wrote to Eminem. We see him dive deeper into his obsession, eventually going over the edge and killing himself and his pregnant girlfriend. To fully soak in and experience the feeling given off by the music, I would recommend listening to the full song.
I do understand that I do want you as a fan. I just don't want you to do some crazy. I seen this one on the news a couple weeks ago that made me sick. Some dude was drunk and drove his car over a bridge, and in the car they found a tape, but they didn't say who it was to. Come to think about it, his name was, it was you. Damn.
This is Time to Pretend from MGMT. Originally, this song was made by a few bored college students who wanted to mock the early 2000s pop song stereotype. Somehow, they ended up creating some of the biggest hits from that time. But why did people enjoy their music so much, especially if it was made by a group of people trying to mock the genre? Oracular Spectacular was created as a joke, with them intentionally trying to make the most generic songs that resembled modern pop. The songs were so generic, in fact, that they actually received a Grammy. But in all seriousness, the song had an undeniably massive influence on an entire generation. It featured some of the most catchy synths that were left stuck in your head after hearing the song. The lyrics also play a huge role, representing deeper meanings within the song, such as the desire for fame and wealth. Overall, despite MGMT's attempt to create something boring and generic, they'd actually made something beautiful and unique. This is what separates Time to Pretend apart from the other pop songs of the time. This brings us back to the original point about what makes a song good. If you look at any of the greatest musicians in history, whether that be Queen or Kanye West, you'll find that their music always includes the three factors.